The one time it's the one I didn't lose my Chiefs hat over this. I was on the Sterling. We were operating out of Pearl, and we went on a 6 months Westpac cruise, or to the Far East.
Those are disposables?
This is after I'd had a tour at the Naval Attaché to China in Taipei. We had the last port call was in Kaohsiung, the southernmost port in Taiwan. So we're pulling into port. I'd been up almost all night, and I'd crawl in my rack, fully dressed, to catch an hour or two sleep before we get into port. And the messenger came in and shook me and said, "Chief, the skipper wants you on the bridge right away." I said, "Okay." So up I go. And of course, you go on when you're at sea, you ask permission to come to the bridge. I asked permission. The skipper said, "Come on up, Chief." He said, "I need some help here." When I got up there, I'm still half asleep. He said, "Now, Chief," he said, "you know a little Chinese?" And without thinking, I said, well, a few words. And he said, "Catch that flashing light over there." The quartermaster of the watch was the one that's supposed to be reading the flashing light. He was a young guy, had very little experience. And the guy ashore on the light was a little bit sloppy. So I wheeled around, and in flashing light, at the end of each word, if you understand the word, you just open your shutter and give him a dash. So I watched his entire message and gave him a Roger on the seat for him. And the old man said, "Chief," he said, "what did he say?" I said, I muttered my 2 or 3 words of Chinese, and I said, he said, "For us to moor starboard side to port side of this ship." And the skipper said, "Okay, thanks a lot, Chief. Thanks a lot." He said, you saved us a lot of headaches." I said, "Mission lay below." He said, "Lay below." And by the time I got back down to the Chief's quarters, I'm beginning to wonder why in the world did I do something that stupid? Because it's only going to take the old man very few minutes to realize you don't send Chinese by flashing light to a U.S. ship. You've got to go to a code book and use numbers instead. And I said, "Oh, jeez. It won't be long before the old man is down here to let me know that he caught on to my silly game." But you know, he never did. And I thought, for several days, I thought, okay, give him a chance. Sooner or later, he's going to nail it. We both got transferred off. Nothing was ever said. Several years later, well, the skipper at the time was a lieutenant commander. Several years later, he came through Charleston, and I ran into him. He was a 4-striper and had just been selected for admiral. So to give you an example of how many years that had been. And talking to Captain Williams, he said, when we were getting ready to part again, he said, "Chief," he said, "you're as good as you always were at flashing light." So it wasn't a matter that he didn't know. He just didn't want to embarrass either one of us by mentioning the subject. But had he not been a great guy, he would have hung me from the yard arm.